Hi there! Today it's not about a new bow again. It's about a Turkish bow that I have since 2020, I think. So this bow has been built 14th of November in 2020, and I've shot this bow quite often, and it's a pleasure to shoot. This I can tell you already. And the reason why I have not yet reviewed it on YouTube so far is that I didn't have the YouTube channel in 2020. I didn't have the measuring rig at that point of time. I measured a little differently, and so I have taken the values again. It's about the Monolith Turkish bow by Lukasz Nawalny. And you see that this bow has been shot a lot, yeah, so it's not brand new. Nevertheless, I want to introduce you to this bow because this one will also be part of the big comparison video of Turkish bows. Alright, but we come to this by the end of the video, and then I tell you the candidates that will participate. Alright, the specs. We have here 51 inches from nock to nock, so all from here, the rest I'm not interested in. Strung, it's 46 inches. Brace height is 7.5 inches. The weight is 410 grams. Arrow pass is relatively wide with 25 millimeters. And we have a bending length of approximately 20 inches because the handle section fades out approximately here, and the zero section starts here. And so this is the bending length for each side. The nominal strength of this bow, as Lukasz has measured it in 2020, is 35 pounds at 28 inches. Indeed, I measured a little more, and if you compare the draw curves that I have taken in 2021 and today, you see that the values have risen a bit. So the bow got a little stronger. Regarding strength, and it's about the same humidity, yeah, 44%. Now here outside we have nearly 25 degrees Celsius and 25% humidity. So, strength. First the 28. This is approximately here. So I try to feel it. 37.22. And now 29. 39.92. And now I need to move the yellow rubber band because maximum draw is 30 inches. .4344. Yeah, but usually my Turkish draw is about 28 inches. I just do it always the same. It can be maybe a little less, so 27.75. Maybe one's a little longer, so around 28 inches is my draw for the Turkish style. Is there something I have forgotten? No. No. Seems that this is... materials. I can see wood, but I don't know how Lukasz does it. He calls it a monolithic bow, and so it's not laminated. Yeah, I can imagine that he has pieces of wood that he places into his form, and then he puts it all together so it's monolithic. But this is only guessing. And what we do have is nice paintings on it. So maybe you have seen it already in the introduction. This is a fake horn painting. and on the outside, on the back side, we have signs from the Quran. And someone has told me what they meant, but I have forgotten it. It's something nice, of course. And we have decoration here on the side as well. So it's a very beautiful bow. And and it's not a mini bow. 51%, it still is, inches is still a small bow, but it's not a mini like we have for the Zipari. All right, that's the shape. And then arrow weight, right? This is something, so minimum arrow weight, Lukasz tells, is 9 grain per pound. And according to Babu Archery table, recommended arrow weight is around 11. So if you have an arrow that has less than 11 grain per pound, this is fine. So minimum is 9 grain per pound. And today I will shoot arrows that have 474 around, and I will try these ones. So these have a spine of 700, and this is a spine of 500, and we see how they work out. They are 383. I'll do the math if I can shoot this. Okay, let's shoot. Okay, now I show you the handle fitting. I think it feels very good. You can see here I have enough space, so I like it. And the arrow path is relatively wide, and you can see here the scratching. This is a fabric self-gluing or self-adhesive band, which is quite durable, as you can see. I've shot this bow more than 1,000 times, and this band has been applied from myself very, very early, so the very next day. All right, so let's check how the arrows fly. So first, the easier ones, the lighter ones. The spine is 500, so they're relatively stiff. Length of the arrows are both the same. The only tricky bit here is that I should have put the feathers a bit more forward so that I have more space for my fingers. The sound is a bit higher, and arrows point far to the right. The last one was in the kill zone. Too high. Kill zone. Kill zone. I show you. So I check again from the 10 or 11 meter line, but so far it seems that the slightly heavier arrows are nicer. All right, we are now at approximately 10 meters distance from the target and still in the shadow. First, the light-weighted arrows. The reason why these arrows are a bit tricky for me are that the ratio between their spine and their length is not that ideal. So there are only a very few bows that I have where I can get good results with these arrows. So these are tricky. There was once a bow, was it Zipari? I'm not so sure about it now, where it worked very well, and this was quite astonishing for me, because usually these arrows are too stiff for their length. And with respect to the strength of the bow. Hoppla. And the feathers are a bit too far backwards. Missed to the right, which is expected. Missed again, to the right, although I compensated to the left. It's a group outside of the fox, so not so good. Too much to the left. That is in the kill zone. Body hit. So not so good, but better than with the more tricky, lighter ones. So I think I will now continue a bit of shooting with the red ones, so the heaviest. And then for test shooting, I will take both, but then the distance will be different and we're not shooting the fox. All right, so now focusing on the sound. So it's not a very dark sound. Kill. It's more, yeah, so it's a mid sound. 2 in the kill zone. And you can hear it. It's like, yeah, if I describe a sound with a color, I would say it's like a sand color, wet sand color. Not very dark, but light, nevertheless not metallic. And vibration, if I pull here, 1, 2, 3, done. For the big comparison, I have ordered a stopping clock, so a timer, and this is more accurate than counting because I can vary in the way I count, yeah, so more fast or more slow, and then this one is precise. Because usually if you have it, this is all very similar and then you cannot decide which one has more or less this very small vibration. The string bridges we have here are made of leather, and yeah, they dampen a little, although the string bridges are not thick. So maybe you can see it here. Yeah, and they have a groove, and so there is not much leather left. So it's not about dampening, but it's a nice string bridge nevertheless to keep the string in place, and it works very well, but it's not for dampening, not really. All right, so next round. So now about the draw. So it starts already here, yeah. So you need to have power to pull it back. And if I would hold it now for a longer time, I already started shaking. And there is power behind. So the 35 pound is past, it's more 38. And so the bow fits exactly into the range of the other bows. But nevertheless, the draw is it's smooth, yeah, but straight. When you see the drawing curves, they're quite like this. Yeah. So, as you know, I start my measurements at 20 inches draw, not in the very beginning. So you have a very steep curve in the beginning until you reach in this case, around 20 pound, and then it's a bit more flattened. But the first inches are relatively more steep than the rest. And the shooting itself is very nice. And now I try to focus on the vibration, if I feel it after the shot. Yeah, a little. But this is, there are very few bows where you don't have it. Usually they have a lot of weight in the handle, so that you don't feel it very much. And or other bows that have massive risers, for example. But for my bows, I always have it a little that I feel it after the shot a bit. But as I said before in other videos, this is not hand shock. Yeah, so this is just a little vibration, which is normal. Just like if you play the guitar, there's vibration as well, otherwise you wouldn't hear something. And this is similar to this one as well. So yeah, you can dampen it if you wrap around something, or but guys, this is just fine. Yeah, this is normal. Yeah, you have a little vibration. You have 38 pounds. You have an arrow, and if you have a heavier bow, you have a heavier arrow. But in the end, the ratio between bow strength and arrow weight should be around 9 grain per pound, or the recommended 11 grain per pound, and then you always have it a little that you feel it. And since I cannot shoot stronger bows than 45 or so, I have no experience how it feels to shoot a 60-pound bow with a heavy arrow. So forgive me about that, but yeah, this is how I see it here, and results are very nice. So shooting this bow is always a pleasure, because this bow is, yeah, it does exactly what you expect. Yes, the arrow path is wider. You need to compensate a bit for this, especially if you have shot one with a narrow arrow path. You need to adjust a little. So the first shots are for adjustment, and then you should be able to go through. So is the bow handy? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can do everything you want. You can do reverse draw. I'm not so sure. I haven't practiced this Yamase, but so I leave it to others who have practiced it and can do it. I don't think I can do it, because and I would need to do it. I'm not so sure how to. Yeah, I think then, or so for me it wouldn't work. Others would need to do this shot. But what I can do is reverse, moving a bit is always tricky for me. But at least as long as you hit the target, everything is fine. Can you do fast shooting with a bow? Probably you can, yes. Since I'm not a fast shooter, I can't. And that's the reason why it's always slow. But in case I would try it, which I have never practiced before, right? There are special knocks. So I have here the, I think these are the U knocks or Y knocks. Always mix it up. And if you are a fast shooter, then you just have it probably differently in your hand. Check out Mac's videos, so he is just doing like that somehow. For me, I need to get it sorted. And then finally, I have it or not. And then if you practice a Slavic release, then it's just like this. I have no idea. Forget about it. So that's the reason I keep on doing it like that. And I can hold it in the hand, do it like this, and then use it. That's fine. Okay, giving you the chance to see the bow from the side profile in the draw. So that's nice. So it feels very good. Yeah, so this way of shooting is much better. Just need to get the right angle. It's about, this is a clock, then it's around 1 o'clock, so the angle. And this works very nicely. Speed test. We start with the lighter arrows, with the 374 grain in average, one at a time. So the stiffness of the arrow doesn't matter in that case, but of course it should be possible to nock the arrow properly. 173, which is a very good result. (172), Lina. Just a moment. Na, schönstes weitergehen. So. So, in the moment we have 172.5 average. (175). So this is really good, but of course we have only then approximately 9 grain per pound, and yeah, this is a good result. The heavier arrows with around 90 grain more, they have 474 in average. This is 160 feet per second. (167). (163). So yes, I can vary a little if I pull a little more, or if I pull it like here. If I have, for example, a collapsing release I do not want, maybe the last one is one of them. So there is always a bit variation. To be 100% precise on the speed, you should have some kind of rig or so where you just put the bow in, draw to a certain length, 28 inches for example. This is always good, most bows can do it. And then have an arrow that has exactly the minimum grain per pound, and then you know what the bow is capable of. But if you just do it the freestyle, this is not as accurate as one can be. Or if another guy is just standing there and tells me, now you have reached the 28 inches, release. I just do it. But this is more according to what you really do. Yeah? You don't shoot the bow on a rig. You don't have someone telling you, you have now reached the 28 inches. This is just how you shoot. And the variation in the speed is something you have if you shoot a bow. And the speed of this bow is very good. Résumé. What do I think of my Lukasz Nawalny Turkish Monolith bow? It's a very beautiful bow, a very nicely working bow, a relatively fast bow. So you may have noticed that I haven't reached a bow speed of 200 feet per second with any of the bows I have measured here in my garden. This is maybe because I'm not using lighter arrows as recommended. I'm not drawing further than the 28 inches, and that's the reason why I don't reach the maximum speed. But of course you can. Yeah, you can draw this bow up to 30 inches. I think Lukasz has already has also a longer version of this, so this is not the largest one. And but I don't need a larger one. So 31 is my personal max draw. And for Turkish archery, this is too much anyway. So the 28 are fine for me. And usually if I do the speed test, so then you can compare this, I draw always around the same draw length. And if you have more draw length and use the same grain per pound rule, then you reach approximately the same. So this is just roughly, yeah. As I mentioned before, we are not in a laboratory, and so we have circumstances, we have variations here, and so it's just roughly. But the speed is very good. The shooting is very nice too. The draw is, it feels powerful, yeah, so no worry about that. It is a powerful bow, but it's nearly linear, yeah. And you can see here the 20 inches working. So here the bit, there the bit, yeah, have a look. And this is really, yeah. I don't get tired shooting this bow, indeed, because the handle is very comfortable, extremely comfortable. So I have never any problems shooting this bow, even if I have a ring on the finger. There are a few bows where I need to take off the ring, because otherwise I got bruises here on the inside. But not with this handle. Feels very good. The arrow path is a bit wide though. I would love to have it a bit more narrow, but yeah, the design is as it is, and as you can see, the shape is very beautiful. Yeah, the painting is beautiful as well. So it's just like someone has printed on it, but if you have a closer look, you can see this is really painted. Yeah, so this is not a sticker. And I have once tried to paint on a bow. This is really difficult. So the artists who paint the bows, my full respect. Yeah, very well done. And yeah, there's a lot of symmetry in it. So the round pieces are round, and this is also difficult. So, I don't know the Arabian signs. I cannot tell you if the writing is good, but it looks brilliant. Yeah. The string is still the first string, so I have it now for 3 years. This is all fine. Here the center serving is still excellent. It doesn't wear out. So does the string. I have no issues with the string whatsoever. Was it a fast flight string? I think so, yeah. I think so. And these are 2 colors here. So I have black and a light gray, maybe it was white before, string, and yeah, very, very well made. Very well made. Okay, and furthermore, materials are very nice too. So as always, Lukasz does an excellent job in building the bows. You get always high quality. Of course, it has a price, yeah? And the painting on it has a price too. So this bow is one of the expensive Asiatic bows I have. It's not the most expensive because there are others. So the horn bows are more expensive, and the recurve takedowns I have are more expensive too. Okay, but yeah. Nawalny bows are the top price segment in the Asiatic bow world, and yeah, there's a reason for it. Yeah, you can see I've shot this bow now in total for 3 years around, and or 2.5, and they look just excellent. No funny sounds, no cracks, no. It's still straight, yeah. I've never had any problems with it. Stringing is easy. The bow gets a little stronger over the time. So for now, we are at around 3 pound plus on top, which is moderate, yeah. And the whipping here is still fine. Yeah, it's just a very beautiful and reliable bow. Yeah, as always, if you want to carry this bow around you, don't let it strung in the car, in the hot car. So this is something, this is valid for all bows. Yeah, never do it. And furthermore, I've shot this in summertime, in wintertime, no problem. Yeah. So thank you very much, Lukasz, for building these very nice bows, and thank very much the artist. So my respect. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This is now the ending of the review of this Lukasz Nawalny Turkish bow. But what I can announce now is that I have the setting for the big Turkish bow comparison at hand. There will be the horn bow number 62. This is the brownish one. That will be on the horn bow side. Then the next one will be the biocomposite Turkish bow by Groscher. And this is a surprise because I have just ordered this bow and it's now in the painting routine and will send then to me, and I hope that the bow will be there the 20th of May. I hope so, because the weekend after is the Korean archery event, and I won't have the time to take a video. If it's not there by the 20th or 21st, then it will be after the Korean archery event. And I won't have the time to review this bow before. I will take the measurements, and then it will be just in the review, in the comparison review. And I'll do then the single review of this biocomposite bow later. And the third one in the row is the hybrid bow by Abu Salman. And this is a special as well. I will tell you a bit about this bow as well. There is already a video, and I had, which was totally clear, because it's a fiberglass bow and you have a veneer, a wooden veneer out on the back, and you have a horn veneer on the belly. And the horn reacts to humidity, it dries out here in our climate, whereas in Indonesia it's very humid. And so there's a lot of tension in the gluing, and so there rise a few gaps between the horn and the fiberglass. I filled it with epoxy. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that I have filled it completely. There might be some air bubbles in it. But I secured it. Nothing serious can happen because this is just optics. Yeah, it's a fiberglass bow. And it doesn't matter for the fiberglass bow performance if there is horn on the belly or not. The only thing is that it can come off. And so I've secured it, and yeah, you see the bow still works fine. So this is then the third one. The fourth is then the laminated bow by Keskin, which is done the true and traditional laminated bow with wood and glass on the outsides. Then we have the a little improved version by Juven and Bamboo Archery, the version 3 of Turkish bow with carbon layer on the back. Then the next one is the Turkish Monolith by Lukasz Nawalny. So you see, we go then to the more artificial materials, and the most artificial ones is the Simsek bow, the Short Sipahi Plus. So we have 7 bows, and it's a huge comparison of all technologies that I'm aware of in Turkish bows. So it's quite a lot. I've thought of 9 categories, and potentially I need to split the video into 3 parts so that we have then a more reasonable time frame where you can just check and don't need to look it all through. You don't need to do it anyway, so by the way. So I always do markings, and so you can go to separate chapters for your personal time management. All right, I'm very much looking forward. That will be a big experience for me, and hopefully you like it. Yeah, but I'm very much looking forward. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Have a great start into the week, and bye-bye. And fingers crossed for our friends in Ukraine. Bye-bye.